welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and today is the last day of hashtag ABC April 2025, letter Z. I made it. Okay, so their prompts are zine. You've probably seen those, right? I actually have one on my channel. They're kind of fun to make. Fold, 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 and decorate like 8 sides. I was thinking in the beginning of the month, middle of the month, I was thinking about doing that, creating maybe a freebie for it, and I still might do that. With some basic backgrounds, but Z-fold, zippers, but a couple days ago I got something and I decided that I'm going to do that, and we're going to call this video Zowie. Very, very retro, kind of reminds me of Batman with the Powie, if you're old enough, but Zowie. So my Zowie is going to be my ventures into clear sticker paper. So we're going to start out with this, and we're going to end with my Zowie. So I had seen on Seven Plaza's channel where she was doing she just released a kit that had papers or stickers with photo strips, and I'm like, oh my god, I love those. Those are great. I would love to have these, but I had no sticker paper. I've actually gone through and made a couple, and I'm going to show how I did them. And Zowie, they're awesome. I'm digressing right now. I just had to show them. I was kind of going to do as a suspenseful to the end, but I had to show you. So my voyage into this was, I looked for sticker paper. So the link for this is going to be in the description. I looked for sticker paper. It was kind of expensive. She originally put out that boo-boo tape, and I'm like, well, you know, sticker paper is expensive. I do know how to make my own using alcohol inks, so I'm not going to get it. It's fun. It's not too expensive, but sticker paper, I was like $10 for, 10 sheets or 15 sheets. You occasionally find it for, $9 for 20 sheets. And I ran across this, which was 60 sheets. The link is going to say it's just for inkjet printer. I have an inkjet printer, which is an Epson. You got to make sure, because there's some laser printer ones out there that are cheaper. It kind of threw me for a second, because I'm like, well, those are inexpensive, but I have an inkjet printer. And I have an Epson 2800, and I was reading up on these, and they really should be, when you print on the clear vinyl, should be a pigment ink. So you might want to look into what kind of printer you have before you invest in some vinyls. But the Epson is pigment ink. So like I said, I'll link below. There's clear ones, and even on that same page, there's white backgrounds. So you got to be careful which ones you get. The one I ordered said for inkjet printer, but when I got the box, it said inkjet and laser printer. So I'm not sure if it would work on both. It does say for both. But this, for 60 sheets, the day I bought it, which just a few days ago, was only $16.99. $16.99. That's crazy. I'm not even sure how much that calculates to for each one. Let me see if I can calculate that real quick. All right, quick calculation. It's about 28 cents per sheet, so not too bad. So I thought, well, you know what, I'm gonna take a chance. $17. I got Prime, so free shipping, whatever tax it was, $18. So I guess it's a little bit more than 28 cents a sheet because I had to pay tax. So I printed out. I found a freebie that I had, and it was just a black and white, and I printed it out to make sure it was okay. And it came out of the printer. I used the glossy setting on my printer, and I believe I used the best for it, and it came out, and it was dry. It was dry to the touch for this particular one, and I'll get to a little different scenario later on. It was dry to the touch. It dried really fast. So I cut it apart, and I cut one out and stuck it onto it, and it stuck to it. It's very sticky. I think they're great. So yeah, so I decided to, first thing I did, I actually ended up, to see how it would print, I ended up buying her boo-boo tape. So I have cut it down into chunks. I've not cut it down into separate ones to play with. It is 6 sheets of paper. Well, that was the other thing I was thinking, because this is 6 sheets and the film strip set was 18 sheets. So that's, if you bought one of each, it's 24 sheets. And if you buy a box and it's only 20 sheets, you have to pick and choose which one you want. So getting the 60 let me be able to print every page and then have refills to be able to do it for a while. I did cut them out into bigger pieces, and so I'll be able to play with those along with the ones that I made. Now back to how I make my own, and I was like, oh, why buy the boo-boo tape? But it is definitely something a little bit fun and different. I'll let the air out later. So I was cutting those big sheets out, and it's going to be hard to tell, but when the I'll use this as an example. So when the boo-boo tape printed out, there were borders, big borders on each side, and then smaller borders on the side. So when I cut this out, I kept it, and I put the strips, probably impossible to see, put the strips on here. It's very similar to how I made these. These were with a Scotch tape, transparent tape. So this is going to be the vinyl. So I'm going to, at some point, not to this video, but I'm going to take this, and I don't think I'm going to make necessarily vintage tape, but I've got a whole bunch of alcohol inks in different colors. So I was thinking about making some strips to make washi strips in a variety of fun colors. Make some red ones, some blue ones, some purple ones, etc. Maybe mix and match kind of deal. So I ended up with, when cutting out just the boo-boo strips, I ended up with 2 full sheets of additional strips. These were the full side ones, and these had a couple full side ones, and then the shorter, they end up here. Shorter side ones, and there's a few going this way for the side of it. So I ended up with two full sheets from the 6 sheets of the boo-boo tape to be able to make more boo-boo tape. So I did throw pieces out that were in between, but I did keep these for that. So bonus on that, and yeah, so I'm sure this will turn out good. I'm sure I'll show this on camera at some point how I did it. Okay, so I digress. So after I printed the boo-boo tape, I was like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and print all these. I have cut these apart. So I figured that I would go through ink like crazy because it's so black. But I do have, like I said, the Epson EcoJet, and it shows the outside has the you can see the tank of what's in there, and it was full before I started, just by coincidence, because I use a lot of black, so I do fill it up often. And when I finished all 18 sheets, it didn't even look like it dipped down. Hardly made a dent in the ink. It really didn't. What I did notice though is, as I was printing these sheets, is it would mostly dry, but because this black was so thick, sometimes in the corners it puddled a little bit and left it a little bit wet. But as long as I let it dry for a few minutes on its side, printed the next one. By the time the next one was done printing, the previous one was dry. There might have been one spot on there that wasn't, and I could go ahead and print the next one. So it dried really fast, except for, like I said, I think it's just because it's so black. I did print these not on the best. I printed it on the normal middle one because, again, I was thinking I'm going to go through a ton of black ink. I didn't want to. But on the normal setting, I didn't go through it. I believe the boo-boo tape I ran on best, but I can't totally remember. I might have ran it on normal because it defaults to that. So yeah, it worked out really well for this. There is one, I'll probably not be able to find it. She has a flip through, so I'm not really going to go a big flip through on these. I did want to show you one though that happened. Oh, this one. This one right here, it started printing, and then, you know how printers, they stop, and it kicked it back out again. So I'm like, I'm not going to waste a whole sheet of vinyl, so I put it back in there again. So double printed, but it was kind of cool because it kind of left this sunset kind of look to it, because it had printed shades of colors on there before it finished. So I was kind of exciting to see that mistake I think it's gonna be pretty cool when I can ever go use it, but you can tell like there's like pink in there. It's shifted off just a hair, but I still think it's very cool. Okay, whew, well that was quite a mouthful, but as you can tell, I'm very excited over these. I didn't get paid. I bought these myself. I'm not getting reimbursed for it in any way. Like I said, I think I said in the previous video when I talked about my corner rounder, I did sign up for the Amazon affiliate recently. So going through the link would get me a couple cents on it, but that is not why I am sharing this, because I don't even think I've qualified yet to get any money from them. Even if I did, I'm just sharing it because this is awesome. And for $16.99 for these, when you see how these go on, you might want to think about investing in them too. So let's play with these a few. Like I said, I did show you these two that I started, and I'm going to show you the books that I started them from and how different they look. But I had one more that I did, and now I can't find my book. Where's my book? Oh, there it is. So you saw did this yellow travel book, but I did this. Oh, look at this. It is a double. It's crooked, of course, because that's how I roll. A double film strip, but I have a Lusitania boat, so travel, and then I've got, this is, I believe it was London, picture of London in olden times, like you'd be traveling, but I thought that was very cool. So I'm going to show how I did those two. So exciting. All right, so we'll start with the first one here, and we'll have some fun. So the first one where I got the Lusitania and the thing is a book I've had for a while called Postcard Century. I'm not even sure I've ever showed this on a haul or anything. I've had it for a while. I'm not even sure it has a date on it, but it's just postcards throughout the decades, or throughout the years, from 1900 to 1999. And I apologize, sometimes there's some little bit naked photos in here. Risque ones. I'll try to avoid those quickly. But I thought these would be fun to put as a slide, because there are some fun old-fashioned looking ones. There's some fun quirky ones. They had a bit of a shine to them, so I thought that might be a little bit harder to do, but in a normal use. But by putting this on there, really makes them old looking. And like these kids in this car, very Tim Holtzy. People in a truck, very fun. So let's just find a page and see if I can pull something off of there. That might have been the page I pulled the Lusitania off of. Cut some off before. Oh, that cat's fun. I did get this originally when I was doing my Margaret Miller challenges, because postcards were one of the things to do. So, all right, let's just find something here. An up and down one. Oh, that's kind of cool. I think I'm going to do that one. And I like that because it kind of has that look of like mailing. So I'm just gonna, I don't have my slicer up here, but scissors will do at a pinch. Okay, let's take that out. Make sure there's nothing on the other side that I would rather do. That could be fun too. All right, so it's as simple as this. Now we're gonna find a slide that's gonna fit that, and that might fit it. This paper you can sort of see through. You're not gonna be able to, but I can, and I think I'm gonna be able to do that one. That's the only not side effect, but the only part I'm not as much of a fan of is the fact that backing paper is white. That's not the kit's problem. That's just the way the backing paper is, because you can't exactly see where you're gonna put it. I mean, you do pull the paper off, but to select which slide you want to use is a little bit harder if you're not. If you can't see the opening, but you can kind of judge a little bit. Like I said, you can kind of see it in real in the real world what it looks like. All right, so I'm gonna do that one, and let's do this one. The only thing that I'm afraid of is that I'm gonna go through all of these, just making little little pictures and little slides faster than I can use them. That's my only thing. Okay. Yeah, so it's going to capture most of this, not all of it, which will be fine. Now I did, while doing it, if you pull the clear vinyl towards you, it peels really simply and reveals the grunge. And just going to figure out where we want to put it on here. And lay it down. And there we go. Now I did on some of these, did take this and kind of rub it down a little bit just to make sure it was adhered well, but I didn't seem to have any problem with it. I was afraid to do this and scratch it, but I probably would end up giving it some fun. I'll cut that out, you'll see. This is very cool. All right, so I'm going to do this one in here, but how easy is this to make? Make something fun. All right, is there an up or down? Sort of this way. All right. And we're going to try to keep a good part of this showing. How fun is that? All right, let's cut this out. I'm gonna make sure there's not too much of a glare on here. There we go. So cool. It looks so like it's an actual vintage slide. And then this one, very cool. All right, so, but as I was saying here, if you don't want to see what's in there in these holes, what I did on this one, because there was some writing down there, I did take my hole punch and I did punch holes in there. I didn't up here, but you can see what I'm talking about. The green is through there. This had a bunch of print on there that I didn't like. So that's another option to do that. But let's play with some more. All right, so if you have these kind of books that they're bright and white and a bit shiny and you don't know what to do with it, this was definitely going to be the answer to these. So let's find something fun to make a slide out of. I think this could be fun. Let's get this out of here. Not the most efficient way to do that, Lisa, but all right, I like that. So let's see if we can find a slide that would go on there well. And again, you can't see through there, but I can see through there to see how that's going to look, and that's not too bad. I think I'm going to cut that one out. And we'll go from here. So you see the difference live and in person, because you can see on the slides how grungy they became, but it's hard to tell until you actually do it in person and get the Zowie effect. Just get around the corners. I probably could have done that after I glued it on, but so like on these sheets, again, if this was only I had done, I probably would go through and had cut all these edges off and save those to make my sheets, but I felt at this point 2 was enough to make those. All right, so we're gonna peel this off, picture toward the front, and see if there's any numbers. Not really. Or do we want to go that way? Or do we want to go this way? I think we want to go this way. I'm gonna try to get as much of that butterfly as possible. And that has been not on the paper, so it's gonna still be sticky. But that is okay. I love it. All right. Oops. All right, I put it on the wrong side, not the release side. That would be better. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to say. I knew before, I wasn't sure how sticky it was going to be. Before, I wanted to print something and then use it. And I printed all the boo-boo tapes. And before I even tried to cut one out to stick it, I was just cutting all those strips off. And I accidentally put one of the strips on top of another strip, and I went to pull it off and it wouldn't come apart. It was so sticky. But how fun is that? I mean, it became, like I said, it was that color, white, and now it's that grungy film strip. I love it. And I'm probably just gonna attach this to here to keep it because, I mean, I could probably put some glue on there if it gets unsticky. But, so as you can see down here, the white film strip, if I didn't like that, how it looked, it had some, maybe words that looked, I could take the hole punch and cut those out and get rid of them. That is an option, but how fun is that? Okay, so butterflies, nice and easy. Now, I was thinking about, and I hadn't made one yet, I've got a bird book, and there is, I thought I put a card in here, I was looking. Yeah, there it is. I got these strips of birds here, and I was thinking, Lincoln, that there is some fun photo strips here. I can see through that one's a little dark. But I'm thinking that's a little bit wider. I saw one that I thought might work as I was flipping through. Yeah, I think that would actually work. Might be a little off, but that would be okay. It'd be like someone trying to take a picture of a bird in flight and only catches part of it. We're gonna give it a try because I think that would be fun. All right, so fun little hummingbirds. All right, it's all cut out, and I think I'm gonna cut this strip out just so I can bring it kind of closer to myself here when I'm trying to glue the paper down. All right, I don't want that last bird, so we'll just cut him off. All right. Okay. Hopefully I gauged it correctly. Almost. All right, I think we're gonna, because it's gonna look weird if that guy's tail is in there. So I think we're gonna cut that in half. Because we can do those two. Just trim a little bit of that off. And then those two. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, see, it's not going to want to come off. I went up a little too high. I was going to hopefully peel that down, and not going to happen. It is stuck good. Get this side a little bit. Cut that down. All right, I should be able to hopefully pull this side a little bit. Yep, just a little bit. All right. So there we go. How fun is that? I love this. All right, so make sure it gets burnished down pretty good. And look at those birds, all grungy and flying. I love it. It's so cool. Now, one thing I have to say with the, and I think this is the piece from, I think, yeah, this is the leftover piece from this. So what I did, and I could have done it that way, is I had this strip of this. So I pulled that forward and I folded this back so only that was revealed, and I was able to put that back on, fold that back, and do the same here and put this on here because they were cut out postcards that were two separate ones. So I was able to, they weren't like this, you know, trying to nail them down right next to each other. They were two separate spots. So I had to do them separately, and I didn't want to cut it in half to make two of them because I really liked how that was joined, but I definitely could have cut it in half to make one here and one here. But I love it. And like I said, this is still sticky, so I could put the backing, there we go, that's better. I could leave the backing on there. Hopefully it'll, you know, stay, but it doesn't want to because it's easy release. But if it loses its stickiness when I go to add it to something, I can definitely put some glue on the back of it, I'm guessing. Or if you're making it, figure out where you're going to put it right away and glue it onto that. If I want to put it on some, yeah, if I wanted to glue it onto a strip of paper like that, I could take and, you know, glue it right down. I think I've stuck a little too much. That is not going to want to stick, but and then add some glue to the back of the picture and call that one done. Very fun. I don't know if I want to put it on there, but that's what you could do. Oh my goodness. I could play with this like all day long, find other stuff that is a little bit bright and go with it. And I just thought of something that was a little bit bright. I have all my, they're not as bright anymore because they, I did the gel medium on there, but oh, this would be fun with the names on the side. Let's see if I can do this one. Find something that would go with. And then we'll call this video done. That's bird tail. Don't need the bird tail. What's funny though is there were so many big ones, and I thought, oh, I'm not going to be using these big ones as much, that I probably would want the little ones. But it's funny how I'm using all the bigger ones right now. I think you would be too big. Yeah, you would definitely be too big. Oh, you might be perfect. Okay, this one though, I think I'm going to cut in half. And I did notice if you cut it just a little bit past and leave a little bit of the clear on there, it doesn't, you can't really tell. Like right now, I like leave a little bit of the white. That's the backing of the paper, not the, it's clear. So you don't have to worry about cutting away, and or like here where it's divoted in, you don't have to worry about cutting that away because it's going to disappear onto your background because it's clear. So yeah, bonus. Okay. All right, so you're a little bit tall, so I think I'm just going to cut you down a little bit. Get rid of the unnecessary outside stuff. But again, we're going to go from white to not white and grunged in a matter of seconds here. All right, I think that scribble's going to be the top. All right. I'm going to keep most of the flower and some of the words. And before I push it down too hard, I'm going to try to trim this off. Okay. All right, put that back on there so I can save it for something. But how cool is that? And this is, it does have a bit of the edge that if I wanted to maybe pull it back and cut some more off, I could. Or, like you said, cut the holes out. Like this side doesn't have it. I think it's all a bit of just trying to figure out how to, yeah, see, you're not coming off. You are definitely some sticky, sticky paper. Oh, I think maybe I'm getting it. Yeah, so trying to, you know, not doing it on camera. Maybe I can figure out a better way to figure out if it's smaller than the actual holes, so that the holes stay clear. All right, push those back down, and so now we've got the clear holes on the two sides. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I don't think I want to show that as an example, but if I had something. I'm gonna tape it down, glue it down, and then cut it out so it can be maybe like a pocket or something. And I'm gonna keep this grungy edge of this coffee dyed. All right, so cut that out. And I could go back if I decide to later, cut it back closer to the film strip size. But for now, it could be a fun pocket. I love it. Look how grungy that looks. The little spots on there. Cool. Okay, well, I think I'm done showing you this. I think you can tell my excitement and what I'm going to be playing with for a while now is going to be these, because they are so much fun to play with. I just don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah, little flowers, little pictures. I really like that one. It's so grungy and dirty looking that, like, you could say, oh, it's such an old picture, and looking at the negative, I just love it. And then I'm just amazed at how a bright butterfly could go and get a little bit grungy. So cool, right? Make a pocket, make a film strip. Make a page. I love it. I love it. So exciting. All right, well, that is going to be it for me and my Zowie video. Last one. So happy. Thanks so much to Margaret at 7 Plaza and Tony at Crafty by Tony for coming up with the idea. I hope they do it again next April. And thanks for 7 Plaza. I will link her channel. It's probably linked, I should say. It's in her coffee account if anybody is looking to pick that up. And like I said, if you're looking to pick up some vinyl stickers, these were awesome. I'm very happy with those. It will be also linked in the description. All right, that's it for me. I appreciate each and every one of you that stopped by. And as usual, I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye now.